Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Romeo and Juliet, and today we get to hear from Juliet again in Act 3, Scene 2, which is the second half of the second scene wherein things start to go horribly wrong. Because remember, Romeo and Juliet secretly got married maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours ago from where we are at this particular point in the play. Juliet went home and was waiting for the nurse to come back with a ladder so that Romeo will be able to climb into her room later on tonight and consummate their marriage. Meantime, Romeo found himself in the middle of a fight in the street where Tybalt wanted to challenge Romeo, but Mercutio took his place, and Mercutio and Tybalt fought, and Tybalt killed Mercutio and ran away, and then Romeo wanted to seek revenge, and then Tybalt came back, and then Romeo killed Tybalt and he ran away, and the prince, being so upset about the whole thing, banished Romeo. And that was the end of Act 3, Scene 1. And then yesterday we got to check in with Juliet, who's like sitting at home waiting and really excited because she gets to get some tonight. And she's antsy for the nurse to come back. And the nurse does come back, and she comes in with the ladder that she said she was going to go get, but the nurse was there and saw Tybalt dead in the street. So at the end of yesterday's monologue, Juliet was like, is that the ladder that you were planning on bringing? And like a rope ladder. We're not talking like a 6-foot aluminum thing. She's like, is that the ladder? And the nurse is like, yeah. And Juliet's like, wait, what's going on? And the nurse is just like, he's dead. He's dead. I saw him, and he's dead. I saw him in the street, and he's dead. And Juliet's like, who's dead? Is Romeo dead? Are you seriously telling me that Romeo is dead? And the nurse is grieving and in shock and having a hard time processing, and she's not very good with her words. And Juliet starts freaking out, thinking that it's Romeo who has died, until finally the nurse is like, Tybalt, the best friend that I ever had. And then Juliet's like, wait a second, what, are you telling me that Tybalt is dead too? Like Romeo and Tybalt? I lost a husband and a cousin right now? Are you kidding me? And the nurse says, no. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo is the one that killed him. So Romeo was banished. And Juliet's like, Romeo killed Tybalt. And the nurse is like, yeah, that's what happened. And Juliet says, did ever dragon keep so fair a cave? Beautiful tyrant, fiend angelical, ravenous dove-feathered raven, wolvish ravening lamb, despised substance of divinest show, just opposite to what thou justly seemst. A dim saint, an honorable villain. O nature! What hadst thou to do in hell, when thou didst bower the spirit of a fiend in a mortal paradise of such sweet flesh? Was ever book containing such vile matter so fairly bound? Oh, that deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous palace. So she's very upset to find out that her husband is a murderer, because who wouldn't be upset to find out that their husband was a murderer? But that's what this whole thing is. The first part of the speech, she's just she's using contrasting images, fiend, angelical, beautiful, tyrant, stuff like that, to describe Romeo and talk about how she thought that he was great and wonderful and beautiful, and she was in love with him, and he did this horrible, horrible thing, and she can't quite wrap her brain around somebody who is as gorgeous as Romeo having committed murder, which, again, they've known each other for like 18 hours, but okay, she's 13 years old, and this is what love is to her, and all of that sort of a thing. But she's absolutely devastated by this news that her husband has killed her cousin. And the nurse is like, wait, like, you're saying all these lovely things about Romeo? How can you say lovely things about Romeo at a time like this? And Juliet has very good reasoning for that. And we will hear that reasoning in tomorrow's monologue, which is actually one that I worked on in college. So that was fun. I have good memories of working on tomorrow's monologue. So it'll be fun to share it with you. Come back tomorrow and you'll get to see it. I'll see you then. Mwah.